What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerds with Words, and welcome to our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 review.
Double deuce. What episode number are we on?
We're on episode 30, our 30th episode.
Oh, I feel so old.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a long time.
Older than we are. Well, not really, but like
30 weeks?
Number-wise, it's older than we are.
Yeah, it's true.
It's an old man.
Yeah.
And I'm happy it's the Guardians episode.
Me too. So we saw this movie last night, and we slept on it because Jamie had to go to work.
I didn't sleep.
Well, you didn't sleep. I slept.
I have not slept. I worked overnights, and then I came right home, record this.
It's very early in the morning.
Very early. Well, even earlier for me. It's technically late at night for me.
It's true. So this movie, I think, it's a solid movie. It probably isn't as good as the first one, to be honest.
I have pretty heavy mixed feelings about this movie. The soundtrack is not as great, in my opinion.
I just didn't really know as many of the songs. The songs weren't as iconic, I don't think.
They might have been, but just not to us.
Yeah.
But, like, this
I still
movie, as much as everyone said it was an intimate story, it was, but it also wasn't at some very big points. Like, there was some pretty outlandishly large scale things, which I get is kind of the Guardians shtick, but this movie was not unique like the first one.
I still think it's unique. I just think it had some movie cliches.
Some big movie cliches.
Yeah, and mostly just towards the end, I would say. For the majority of the movie, it was pretty Guardians, and then.
Well, are there gonna be spoilers in this? Let's stop for a second.
Yes.
There will be spoilers, big spoilers, because there's no point talking about the movie if we can't talk about it.
No. So spoilers. If you haven't seen it, don't listen to the rest of the review yet.
You have been warned.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you, America wants you, like, the Captain America, or now in Secret Empire, the Hydra wants you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, spoilers. Continue.
I would say for the majority of the movie, the first three quarters of the movie is Guardians, still.
Platform 9 3/4?
No.
Oh.
Still same as the first one, and then you get to the end where there's the big boss fight, and it just was kind of cliche.
I don't know. From the very get-go, the movie starts off very Baby Groot heavy. And Baby Groot's useless. He's a useless piece of crap.
You were right. He was useless.
Let's be honest.
He didn't do anything.
Baby Groot is there for one thing, and one thing only, and that is I was gonna go one thing, and I was like, well, no, I'm not weird.
Do a thumbs up.
He was there for one thing only, and that is to sell toys. Sell toys, and he will. He'll sell toys by the boatloads. That thing will sell more toys than any other Marvel product ever has.
Yeah.
It'll sell plush dolls. It'll sell Baby Groot masks. It'll sell Baby Groot action figures. It'll sell fucking Build-A-Bear Baby Groots. It will sell. But as far as a movie thing, garbage. Just absolute trash.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of as to why James Gunn would have put them in there for not marketing is so next time we see Groot,
it was for a funny post-credit scene, is what it was.
I don't know. Next time we see Groot, he'll have more of a connection to the rest of the Guardians.
Great, yippee-ki-yay.
And
you couldn't have done that in any other way.
Be more badass. I don't know.
You couldn't have done that by maybe having them go through more harrowing adventures together. Oh wait, that's what they were doing. Oh, that's almost like how Rocket and Star-Lord became closer together. It's almost like that same plot device could have worked on multiple characters.
Aside from Groot, I think all the characters really developed.
The movie opened up with him dancing, just for a 5-minute stretch.
Yeah, it was too much dancing.
Well, they had a sweet battle going on in the background. The one they saw from the trailer where they're fighting the big tentacle beast. And the one I really want.
That was a cute tentacle.
He had all the teeth and basically looked like a kraken.
Kraken, yeah.
Mixed with
he
that.
He even did the jump into its mouth.
He did.
Johnny
and
Depp.
Really cool, and I loved it from the trailer. And then they covered up that entire fight with Baby Groot dancing.
Yeah.
Except for the stuff we saw in the trailer, so I'd already seen that stuff.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. They used it too much. I think Baby Groot I wouldn't have cared if they didn't flash to him too many times.
And then there was another scene later on where they were he was trying to get something, the Hondo's fin. He was trying to get that while they were in prison, And, like, the joke was, like, oh, Baby Groot couldn't figure it out. Like, he kept coming back with, like, weird, quirky items. Oh. Except it went on far too long.
Yeah, he was the Disney humor.
Oh, it was... No.
Even though they're already funny.
Baby Groot was a big miss for me.
Other than Baby Groot, I think the rest of the characters developed really well into their second.
Rocket definitely developed well.
I think Gamora...
Drax was a little over the top for me. He said penis, which was kind of weird for me.
He was over...
Talked about his nipples a lot.
Yeah. He was... I think he was the same in the first one, though, over the top.
Yeah, I think it was all the nipple and penis talk that really threw me off.
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
He asked Star-Lord's dad, Ego, if he had a penis. And there was a whole, like, long, drawn-out conversation about the man's penis. It was a little weird. And Kurt Russell was like, yeah, I have a penis. It's not that bad. I'll wink. And Drax was like, oh, yeah, it's a good penis you got there. I just said penis a lot.
You did. And nipples.
Nipples.
Drax has sensitive nipples.
Yeah, he's got, like, the runner's nipples where he runs too much and it chaves and starts bleeding, like Andy from The Office, how he puts the cotton balls over his nipples.
Yeah.
I don't know. This movie just felt off to me. My favorite part is, like, Stan Lee's 2 cameos, because it actually confirmed, like, a huge fan theory.
Yeah. So one of Stan Lee's cameos is when they're Rocket and Yondu
are
time
traveling
jumping
through the universe.
Yeah.
By jumping through a bunch of, like, different jump points, like 700 of them or something like that.
Mm.
And meanwhile, it's doing this crazy, like, Space Jam-esque, like, cartoon, all bad CGI at this too, like, bad. It was not good.
Well, you can't really make that look good.
Well, it looked bad. It was like Space Jam level face distortion where they were like, you can only make 50 jumps safely. We're about to make 700. And then Yondu's face was like, just like bloated. His mouth was open like, ah. And then Groot was all like weird. And then Rocket's eyes were like bulging out like a cartoon. I get he is a cartoon, but like,
yeah.
It was, and they showed it twice. Not one scene, 2 scenes of this.
Yeah. But while they were doing that, they flew over Stan Lee, who was sitting in space somewhere with 3 Watchers, which is pretty big.
Watchers are basically these celestial beings that watch the entire Marvel Universe, but don't really interact much, except when absolutely necessary. And like one of the fan theories is that Stan Lee is the Watcher of the universe, and this one basically confirms that if he's not a Watcher, he at least like communicates with him. He's like an agent for them. And it confirms that Stan Lee is just Stan Lee in every movie. Not like he's not like a mailman. He's not, he's not a World War II vet. He's Stan Lee playing all these parts.
Yeah.
Like he's Stan Lee who is a World War II vet. He's Stan Lee who is like, I'm gonna deliver this to Tony Stank.
He could be Earth's Watcher.
Could be Earth's Watcher, because there was multiple of them, which I didn't know about. I thought there was only one Watcher.
I always thought there was only one too.
There was 3. They looked great.
They did. They looked perfect. But that's pretty huge that the Watchers are actually in the MCU.
Did they confirm another celestial being, Eternity? When Ego, like, starry-eyed Peter, he was like, what do you see? He's like, Eternity. And I was like, ooh, Eternity.
Yeah.
We might have.
Could have. Yeah.
Could have. Very well could have. What do you think? There wasn't a clear villain? I mean, there was and there wasn't. It's a common problem to have too many villains in a movie now. Because there was the Sovereign.
Yeah,
He's basically these hoity-toity, silver spoon up their ass jackasses who think they're better than everyone else. I guess Golden Spoon, because they're all made of gold and they think they're top shit.
Yeah. I would say, and then, spoilers, Ego. Peter's father is also the villain of the movie.
And there's one of the biggest cliches.
Yeah. He's probably my biggest issue with the movie, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty...
And one other thing, but we'll get to it.
It's pretty disappointing. You explain it. It's your biggest issue.
So, Peter's father, pretty much right from the beginning of the movie, we meet him. And he saves... Nice glasses. And he saves them from the Sovereign, who are chasing them because Rocket stole their batteries.
Yeah, and they shit down their throat, basically.
Yeah. And so, Peter's father, saves them, destroys all the Sovereign ships, and then meets them on a planet and is like, hey, I'm your father. come to my planet and I'll explain your heritage.
Yeah, jump on my magic carpet ride, or come
Yeah.
with me and you'll see a world of pure imagination, Willy Wonka style.
And so
Almost
Star-Lord
broke out the song there. I love the Willy Wonka song.
and Star-Lord, Drax, and Gamora go off with Ego to his planet. Ego and Mantis, the new character who is with Ego for some reason.
He rescued her as a baby or something, so she
He
puts
found
him
her
to
as a larvae.
puts him to sleep. I don't know. She's an empath,
Empath, yeah.
so she feels people's emotions when she touches them.
What's my
I feel nothing. He's dead inside.
Oh.
No, that's me. Wait, what?
So they go to this planet and then they Peter has a bunch of father-son moments. They play catch.
It's very touching.
It
It's
is.
nice, and you're like, oh, great! Finally, a long-lost father who's not an evil megalomaniac.
And then
Gotcha.
there's a few scenes kind of leading up to the reveal that he's evil that pretty much
Say
point it
that
out.
he's evil. Like
Yeah.
Mantis is like, I have to tell you something, and Gamora's like, there's something wrong here, and it's like, all right, well, thank you for ruining every beautiful father-son moment they've had.
Yeah. And it turns out that he's Ego the living planet. So he's a celestial being and he created this planet from himself, which was nothing when he was
He's a celestial being
created.
that can create matter, and so he
Yeah.
created a planet, and he gave himself a human form to travel around the galaxy in.
Yeah. And then so what his purpose in life that he's
That he
set
deemed,
out.
he deemed this is his purpose.
He is trying to make all of the universe like him.
Yeah, so basically he went around to every planet he could find, planted a flower there, and then he banged every woman species thing from here to Timbuktu in order to have a spawn.
Can't imagine what the women from Timbuktu were like.
Oh, you don't even want to know. They're mystical beings. It's like Ladies of the Wood in The Witcher.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, he planted these flowers, and then he banged all these women so he could have a prodigy that was celestial like him, so they could combine powers and take over the galaxy. And the only one that worked was Peter,
Yeah.
out of thousands of children, which a little ridiculous to believe.
Yeah, kinda. The only
Oh yeah, and he also killed his mother.
Yeah. So if
Spoilers.
you watch the first Guardians, which obviously you probably have, his mother died of cancer.
Brain tumor.
Ego was the one who put the tumor in her head because
He knew if he went to see her again, he wouldn't leave. So he's like, well, I'll kill her.
yeah.
Slowly and painfully. Not quickly.
So he did actually love Peter's mother, but he's just insane.
He's an asshole. And
Yeah.
which is upsetting because he could have been all they had to do is they didn't have to make him a world-killing evil megalomaniac. All they had to do was make him an asshole.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, Dad, you got all these cool powers. And they gave Peter cool powers. Where he could create stuff and then take that away. Basically, they made a lot of progress with this movie and cut a lot of it immediately.
Yeah. Peter though is still technically half a celestial being.
Except his celestial side's dead. He's no longer immortal,
Yeah.
and he no longer has his powers.
Because the planet's dead.
Yeah, because they killed Ego.
Mhm.
For some fucking reason.
Yeah. So yeah, the big boss battle at the end is Ego.
It's a giant CGI battle where he's a giant. Ego forms himself out of rock as a 40-foot tall rock man, and Peter was like, oh, I finally can use my heart to use my powers. And he forms himself into a giant 40-foot Pac-Man. Because early in the movie, his father's like, you can create anything you want like this. And he's like, I'm going to create some Pac-Man and some other weird shit. And so then they're like, you know what? We should have Pac-Man battle Kurt Russell.
You know
Because
what
that
that-
screams the 80s.
You know what that reminded me of? That movie Pixels, where the video games came to life, and it makes me really upset that it reminded me of
John said to me, we saw it with John, who's been on the podcast. He said that is seeing Pac-Man in movies twice in a year and a half is 2 times too many. Giant Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Crossover confirmed though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. What was the other thing that really pissed you off?
Oh,
Oh,
at the end,
right.
they killed Yondu.
I don't care about this.
I do.
Yondu means nothing.
They gave him a whole story. I hate it when they build up a character and then fucking kill them at the end. It's so stupid. It makes zero
another
sense.
cliche
to me.
too. A
Yeah.
bad guy or anti-hero who becomes a full hero and sacrifices himself for the greater good, and then everyone in the galaxy realizes, oh, he wasn't that bad of a guy to begin with,
Yeah, and then he dies.
and then he dies.
Like, it's just that's such a cliche.
They spent a
and it made
lot
me
of
so
time on him in that
boring.
movie,
They
too.
did. And
Like-
you got the cool fucking fin.
They
and
spent,
shit.
and well, now Sean Gunn's got it.
Is he gonna? They gave Sean Gunn way too much screen time.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens when your director's brother.
Yeah, Sean Gunn plays like Yondu's right hand man, Craggle or whatever it is,
Craggle, yeah.
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Plays Fraggle Rock, and he was in the movie like a lot.
Way too much.
And then Yondu died, and now he has Yondu's fin on his head and his little thing, his arrow.
Well,
is-
it was a post-credit scene where he was like fooling around with the whistle.
well, he used it.
Yeah, but will he be in the next movie? I hope not.
He most definitely will if James Gunn's directing it, which he is.
If he keeps the fin on, I'm gonna be really upset.
I think a lot of people will be really upset.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, Adam Warlock's going to be in the next film.
Yeah, that was one of the 5 post-credit scenes.
Aisha, the Queen of the Sovereign, was
The
like,
gold people.
I failed my people, so I created this. I call it Adam.
Yeah, and it was like a big chamber.
It's a big pod, which Adam Warlock is born of. So that's cool, I guess.
Will we see him in Infinity War? or
No,
will
no.
we
Kevin
see him
Feige's already said he's not in Infinity War.
Then I guess won't.
So we're waiting like 3 years. So there's that payoff.
It's gonna be interesting to see them in Infinity War because this movie is still set like only a couple months after the first one, so Infinity War will be like years later.
Which, well, let's bring up a very big point that is glossed over. So in this thing, when Ego wants to take over all the planets, when he activates his ego powers, he basically a giant blob, blue gelatinous blob, starts covering the Earth, spawning from the point where he planted his flower, a part of him.
in Missouri.
In Missouri. There is a giant, I'm talking huge, like blue blob in the middle of Missouri, and it does not get mentioned or investigated at all by anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it probably did. We just didn't see it in the movie.
But that's the thing, like, it's hard when you have an interconnected, like, universe, and then you set a movie that is in the past behind what's been made so far.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It's a
I was kind of expecting somebody to show up with Iron Man or
it's a
something.
continuity error, and continuity errors bug the shit out of me, like a lot.
Mhm.
Oh, like a lot. It's kind of my thing.
That didn't bother me. There was more things that bothered me.
Like Pac-Man.
Yeah. I think that was stupid.
Like Pac-Man.
Honestly, that battle was fine until
Like Pac-Man?
they did the Pac-Man thing, and then they were like They were just like flying around fighting like every other movie ends.
Mel Gibson. I'm coming around to something here. Follow me on this track. I know Mel Gibson's. Hacksaw Ridge was incredible though.
Yeah, it was.
He deserved an Oscar.
He did.
So Mel Gibson made an interesting statement coming up to the release of Hacksaw Ridge, where he said Marvel movies are just as violent as his war movies, except they cover it up with
He said
funny,
more violent.
more violent because they cover it up with like funny jokes and brightly colored costumes.
Mhm.
That has never been truer than in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when Yondu massacres 300 people and they play a jolly tune in the background while he does it.
I mean, Yondu's not a superhero though.
Yeah, but I get like as soon
then
as,
we're all
as soon as I
bad
read
guys.
that quote by Mel Gibson, I realized like he's 100% right.
Yeah, and they address it in Civil War. That's literally what Civil War is about.
Yeah, and they don't really fix the issue though.
No, I don't. It does. I don't really think it needs to be fixed necessarily.
Civil War, this whole thing in where Scarlet Witch blew up that thing. That's some pretty big bullshit. That's what caused Civil War. The more you think about it, it's like, what was she gonna do? Let them blow up all the people on the ground,
Yeah.
or raise them into the air and where, in theory, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But she made the right choice. I'm standing by Scarlet Witch. Everyone else, they're ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't think that's an issue that really needs to be fixed because, like, you have supervillains that are trying to kill everybody in the world. People are gonna die. That's just how it's gonna be.
I'm not saying it needs to be fixed. I'm just saying it was never.
true.
It was never more. For the people who are like, oh, they're fun for your kids. I'm like, there was some pretty top like. There was Yondu who was doing up his pants after clearly banging robot prostitutes.
That's true.
There was some pretty highbrow jokes in this one.
We also got a look at the original Guardians of the Galaxy from the comics, like the very first team.
We did. That was the team at the end, right? One of the post-credit scenes.
Yeah. And it was Sylvester Stallone's character, who we saw earlier in the movie as well, with Michael Rosenbaum's character, who was the Iceman-looking guy.
That was Rosenbaum?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love Rosenbaum.
Yeah, he only talked once.
No, he talked twice.
Oh, okay.
Once when Yondu died, once in the post-credit scene.
Okay. And then the rest of the Guardians, I can't remember all their names right now.
I
Miley
don't
Cyrus was the talking robot head.
Was she?
Yeah.
That bitch.
And then there was a couple other people too who weren't big name actors, I don't think. But
that's interesting.
that was one of the post-credit scenes. We got to see them reunite because they were the original Ravengers in the movies and not Guardians.
Yondu was an original Guardian, right? In the comic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yondu and those 5 other people.
That's
were
why
original
he's been in the
Guardians.
movies.
Yeah.
I don't really care about Yondu. I can never... Even when he died and they had this, like... They drew out his death far too long. His whole death and funeral was easily 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it made the movie end on a very depressing note, which that's why they had 5 post-credit scenes, so they could wash that away.
Yeah.
They dragged on far too long, but I just couldn't find it in my soul to care.
I like Yondu, and I liked what they did with him in this movie, except kill him. I just think that's such a waste of a character.
And people just love Michael Rooker too, and I
don't like
can't get
Michael
on board
Rooker
with
that much.
Michael Rooker. What was it like?
I like him as Yondu, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean he was good in Slither.
Is that the other James Gunn movie?
It might be.
Yeah.
I think he was
seen
in
it.
Slither. I think it's Slither.
I don't know.
I think so. He was also in Walking Dead, was he not?
Yeah, and I don't like Walking Dead, but
No, it's a bullshit show.
yeah, I just think I hate it when they waste time building up a character and then kill him. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a wasted, and it makes
It's
it
just
makes
a
half
waste
the
of
movie
time.
a waste.
He was in it a lot.
He was.
I guess
and it doesn't bother me up until he died.
He tried to they tried to use him to evolve Rocket, and it worked, but his death wasn't necessary.
No, and Peter kind of realizes that Yondu was his like father figure, and that like the one who raised him, and it was like a touching moment.
Yeah,
and shit,
whatever.
which was nice, but they could have kept him alive.
Yeah,
that's pretty much my biggest issue with this movie.
There was some faffing about in that movie. It's definitely not as good as the first one.
No.
This one
Probably
felt
not.
like a much more cliche Marvel movie. Like very much like I say it doesn't have any uniqueness because it just felt like every other Marvel movie to me. Well, the first one doesn't.
I don't know.
It's like look, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. We say a-holes. We talk about penis and nipples.
They only said a-holes once in this movie.
Oh, thank goodness. If you can say penis and nipples and shit, you can say assholes, okay? Let's clear that up.
It's true.
When you say a-hole, you sound like a bigger asshole.
It's true.
You do. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of life.
Like what I said before, I would say for the first like 3/4 of the movie, it was a very good sequel, and then they kind of threw in a bunch of cliches at the end, which kind of bothered me.
It's like they're like, all right, James Gunn, the first one was a risk. This one's not. Go crazy.
Yeah.
And I was
He
like,
tried to go too big.
it's like just pull it back. You're over here. Just come right back.
It
to
was
about
weird.
here.
Like, it was weird because the first lot of the movie is really intimate, and then it goes really big at the end, like all of a sudden.
And I could have
And
done.
it's kind of a weird change.
You know who else I could have done less with? Nebula.
Yeah, I still don't like Nebula.
A lot of Nebula.
She's not a great actor, that Karen Gillian.
She is. I just don't know if they're giving her a lot to do. Nebula
don't like
is
the
very
character.
one-dimensional. Like they tried to grow her, but she's still just like, I just want to kill people. Well, at least Gamora's grown, but Nebula's
Yeah.
still very much like, I'm just gonna go kill Thanos.
They pretty much use her as a tool to grow Gamora. I think.
They do. It's exactly what Yondu was for Rocket and Quill.
Yeah.
I wish someone would fucking grow Groot. God damn.
Well, in the one of the post-credit scenes, he is a teenage Groot.
That's the best scene of Groot in the entire movie.
He's like sitting there playing video games in his room, like all covered in leaves and vines and shit, and he's like,
And Peter comes in. He's
A
like,
little bit
Groot,
grown and skinny.
clean your room. And he's
he
like,
even has like a voice change, which I thought was
he's
funny.
like, I am Groot. And Peter's like, I don't care, okay? And he's like, I'm not boring. How can Groot know the F word as baby Groot, but not understand simple instructions like don't press this button?
I didn't like that Baby Groot actually like acted like a baby sometimes when he like crawled onto their shoulder and like fell asleep, like Drax like was holding him like this while he was
Or when he
sleeping.
started crying in the tunnel.
Yeah. I just like he was fine until he started doing things that were actually kind of baby.
He was never fine for me since day one when they announced Baby Groot's going to be in the movie.
I didn't mind him that much. He wasn't a big selling point in the movie for me, but he wasn't a issue either.
I just
funny sometimes.
One of my biggest pet peeves in like any form of media is when something is thrown in there not for the story, but either to satisfy some exterior agenda or for merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't stand it. Because I really look for like pure stories and plots a lot. Like that's my thing. I love a good detailed plot.
Yeah.
And that's why I will never be able to get on board with like BVS because it has an awful plot.
Yeah.
At least the plot was cohesive. I'll give him that.
It was. Yeah, I think this movie was pretty solid, I think, for the most part, and I think I still really like it. I think it's probably one of the better MCU movies still. I would say, personally anyway. It was really funny, I thought. I liked it.
I pushed slightly more air on my nose than usual when Joe came on. More of a than a You probably didn't hear that, but I pushed more air on my nose than usual. Just like Brandon literally just did.
I think it was funny still. I laughed a lot in that movie. I thought it was really funny.
I mean, the people behind us certainly laughed a lot.
Oh, Jesus. Don't you hate it when you get people in the movie theater who just laugh out loud like an idiot?
We sound like such curmudgeons, but like, chime in the comments or whatever if you do that. But like, when you're in a movie theater, you don't laugh out loud. You do a little
chuckle.
You do a little like, like a little like closed mouth chuckle. But you don't do big belly laughs in the movie theater, and a lot of people do. And like, it's like whatever. I can't blame them for laughing. It just takes me out of the film, personally.
It does. It's really annoying.
Especially when you get someone with a bad laugh, and this guy was sitting, like, right in my ear.
He fucking kicked my seat, like, 3 times.
You should have turned around and slapped him silly is what you should have done. I would have. You should have told me I would have turned around and slapped him silly. I've yelled at people in movie theaters before.
Dad, this guy's kicking my seat.
I've yelled at people in movie theaters before. People have sat next to me talking, and I just turn to them and go, excuse me? And they go, yes. I go, shut up. And they go, oh. And that's exactly how because like just don't talk, don't speak. Like during the previews, I can deal with a bit of like, that was pretty dope, man. That was pretty good looking.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the feature presentation starts, stop or I'm gonna slap you.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, do I ever turn to you in the middle of a movie? I may turn to you and go give you like a nod, like a oh yeah.
Yeah, like we did once the Watchers came on screen. We looked at.
Or it's like a mouth word like Watcher or something like that, like with a very very low. But I'll never be like, yo, did you see that? Oh god.
Fucking idiots.
We're such curmudgeons.
We are.
We're ready to be old men already.
I'm not. I like to be young.
No, I'm ready to be old. What is it? Tom Segura? Tom Segura is a favorite comedian of ours. Watch him on Netflix. Watch Mostly Stories. Tom Segura. He does this bit where he talks about how he's just ready to be old. He wants to be the age where people yell at him when he tries
to skip to like
when
75.
When he tries to help out with things. I'm just gonna take out the trash. Are you kidding me? You're gonna break your back. Sit down. That's the age I want to be at. Right now.
I don't want to be at that age.
Where I can yell at people for stepping on my front lawn, and where people yell at me for trying to help out. That's the ideal situation.
Back to the movie. I'm trying to think of something else I want to talk about.
I feel like we covered big points.
I think we did too. Yeah, I don't know. I did like that it was intimate, like for the most part, anyway, for the first little bit.
I mean, I liked Ego up until they just made him a cliche.
Me too.
I love Kurt Russell. I'm a big Kurt Russell fan.
I'm not a big Kurt Russell fan.
I loved him
because
in
I'm not really into
Big Trouble in Little China. Loved him in Hateful Eight.
Forgot he was in Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. If you don't mind listening to Sam Jackson give an awkwardly long speech about sucking black penis.
It's a great movie. I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered everything.
I think so too.
What would you give it? We'll finish off the review here. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd probably still give it an 8.
I'm going 7.
Yeah, I'd probably give it an 8. I really liked it.
Baby Groot and the cliches just really bring it down from like that top tier to like a B plus for me.
Yeah.
So like a 7 out of 10. John was with me. He also gave it 7. So I'm pretty much right. As usual. I mean. Okay, so we're on to news for the week.
Yes, there was like nothing.
Yeah, we
this
were sitting here and we were like, what are we gonna send to Tony? And just nothing was popping off.
So really, the first thing of the week is the Defenders trailer.
We have some time. Let's talk about that a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
It looks good. I think the action scenes looked way better than Iron Fist, which is good.
Iron Fist is still preaching that I'm the immortal Iron Fist. No one cares. Literally, shut up.
Him and Luke Cage looked pretty good together in that one scene.
Don't you love all the costumes? Don't you love them? All the costumes?
We saw Daredevil's costume in a box, so hopefully he puts it on more than that scene.
Elektra's coming back to life.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
You don't even remember that she died.
No, I didn't remember that at all.
Yeah,
Stick's there for some reason.
He's the Nick Fury of the group.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess.
Styx is the Nick Fury. Rosario Dawson's the Coulson. And the rest of them make up the Avengers.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver looked dope.
Oh, yeah, we still don't know who she is, though.
Apparently she's a character made up specifically for the show called Alexandra.
Oh.
I'm into it, though. I love Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks good.
Ridley Scott do Alien 5.
What do you think?
I'm into it. I mean, Iron Fist still bugs me. He looks garbage.
I'm not as excited because I'm skeptical now after Iron Fist.
As long as they don't have the same stunt team that did Iron Fist and the fight coordinator that did Iron Fist, I can get on board with it.
The same director that did Iron Fist is doing, or the same showrunner is doing Inhumans, though. I found that out this week.
Zariki, whatever his name is?
No. Sean Buck?
Is he looking to Buck?
I don't know. Maybe that's not his name.
Interesting. Alright.
Next thing is the first look at Hulu and Marvel's Runaways. First picture.
I mean, it looks exactly like the comic book cover.
Yeah.
Same font, same setup of characters and everything.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's fine.
Aquaman released the official logo and started production this week.
I'm into that.
And principal photography.
I'm into that. The logo's simple. It's nice.
It's nice.
It's got a little color to it, so I can get on board with that.
Yeah, and Star Wars Day was this week, so...
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
It's Revenge of the 5th right now.
It is. And we got the first look at the Inhuman royal family.
What'd you think? We actually haven't had a chance to talk about this.
They look pretty good, I think, for the most part.
Medusa's
ugly as hell.
Well, Brandon, it's not all about a woman's appearance, okay? It's what's at the inside.
She's got an old, ugly face.
She even had that when she was in Smallville playing Zatanna.
I don't.
And that was like 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah. She's got a weird face.
I mean, they look good though. Like they're pretty traditional costumes.
I feel like Blackwell won't get a mask, and that'll bother me.
He's not speaking. I read a big interview on that. How Anson's the I can't remember the last name.
Anson Mount.
Anson Mount is doing a really good job portraying the Silent King.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest they look fine. I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for that show actually.
And Game of Thrones has 4 spin-off series in the works.
Oh, that's good news. Oh, that's good.
I feel like 4 is too many.
It's not. There's so many stories to tell.
I feel like that's a lot, though.
There's so many stories to tell. Here's the thing. But no. Think of it this way. You're thinking of it 4 miniseries that are going to be 8 seasons long. It's probably 4 miniseries that are like a season long each.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Like think of it that way, like 1 or 2 seasons. So think of a miniseries that's only. They do 4 miniseries that are 1 to 2 seasons long.
Mm-hmm.
That's one show they've just made up.
Yeah.
That tell a bunch of different stories.
Yeah.
Think of it like a short story book. That's what I was thinking about.
If they do it like that, yeah.
Because if they tell like the story of Robert's rebellion, there's not enough content there unless they start making shit up.
Yeah.
To do 8 seasons of a show, but there's enough definitely for 2 seasons.
Yeah. It's true.
Or like, the First Men, you can do a thing on them. And fighting the White Walkers for the first time, creating the White Walkers, all that jazz.
Yeah.
There's enough, or the dragons conquering Westeros for the first time. There's enough content in Game of Thrones that circles the whole thing that you could do it.
Yeah, that's true.
You already have some actors for Robert's Rebellion. You got young Ned Stark. You haven't seen him yet.
No.
He appears.
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah,
really?
I didn't tell you what he's doing.
You still told me he appeared.
Okay. Well, we really need to watch that.
I know.
There's so much stuff I want to talk to you about.
Yeah. I'm only 2 seasons behind.
It's true. All we have to watch is 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Which we should do soon because July is rapidly approaching.
It is.
Does that cover all the news?
That was the whole news for this week. It was pretty upsetting. It was a slow week.
Check out the comic column. It'll be posted.
Yeah. And if you
literally gonna write it right after this.
If you've listened before you saw Guardians, go see Guardians. It's worth a watch.
If you listened before you saw Guardians, you're an absolute animal.
And there's no point to watch it after you listen to us.
Well, I mean, there is still a point. You get the visuals.
Yeah.
You get to see Baby Groot.
It is visually a nice movie.
It's
for the most part.
It's stimulating, certainly.
There's a scene when they're on that Bearheart planet where Rocket is like running around in the trees and shit.
That's pretty dope.
He was like acting like an actual raccoon, but he was being really badass about it. It was probably one of my favorite scenes.
Except when they start doing the trampoline thing with the anti-grav grenades, where they're like, oh, we're in the air now. Oh, now the other group's in the air. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That is what their faces look like when they were jumping through space.
Yeah.
Ridiculous is the bottom line. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think that covers it. Why don't you give them, if they have any comments, or you can leave it on the YouTube video. And we'll put a link on our Facebook page to the YouTube video again. And remember, iTunes, SoundCloud, we're on there.
Yeah. You can also check out all this week's news on our Facebook page and our website, nwwpod.com.
Twitter.
And Twitter at nwwpod. We post everything on there as well.
Yeah, and you can email us at nwwpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
We have multitudes of ways to get in contact with us.
It's true. Let us know what you think of Guardians 2 if you've seen it already. If you haven't, then you're ridiculous and you need to go see it.
Let us know any things you want us to talk about in the future. Any ideas that, things that you think we'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Anything coming up, No, not really. Ottawa Comic Con's coming up, but we're out of town.
Yeah, we're out of town, unfortunately.
We were going to go on like the Saturday.
Yeah.
I almost worked security for Ottawa Comic Con. I wish I had.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, my bud couldn't get me in though. It was upsetting.
Yeah, I don't think we got anything else overly important coming up.
No, but thanks for listening.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good time.
It was a good time.
Yeah. I'm tired and I won't get to sleep till late tonight.
It's unfortunate.
The life of a hard-working young man.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, you folks you have a good day.
Yep. Have a good weekend, guys. See you next week.
See ya.